I don't know if anyone else has noticed, but for some reason, eggs have been making their way into a lot of games recently. Or maybe they've always been there and I've only just started paying attention. I'd say the game that really got me to notice this trend is Egging On, a somewhat recently announced 3D platformer where you play as possibly the world's most fragile protagonist. Think Getting Over It, but, with an egg. The game doesn't have a release date yet, but in it you'll roll and jump through a variety of levels like a henhouse and a kitchen, trying your best to survive and slowly keep making little bits of progress. If you're feeling particularly adventurous, then you can search for hidden stamps and unlock new skins. Egging On definitely seems like one of those easy to learn, difficult to master games. You'll have to learn how to synchronize your jumps with your rolling cycle, get a feel for how far you can fall without cracking, and probably discover shortcuts that may save you time, but are difficult to pull off successfully. Physics-based games can be fun, and they can be frustrating, but really nothing beats the satisfaction of finally mastering movement and becoming one with your yolk. Now, eggs are a decently common type of collectible, but Animal Well takes this idea to a whole new level. The game has 64 of them hidden throughout its dark, damp world, and you have to collect all of them to reach the second ending of the game. Thankfully, I found this to be a super fun task, so much so that I went ahead and made a guide to finding all of them. From tricky platforming to some pretty clever puzzles that require you to use the game's items in some interesting ways, tracking the eggs down was a very rewarding experience, like one big treasure hunt. Another thing that I think is pretty neat is how each egg has a unique name and pattern. As you collect them one by one, this room slowly starts filling up, and it's a great visual indicator of your progress in the game. Man, I love Animal Well. So we've got egg platformers, eggs as collectibles, but what about just cooking eggs? Very cold eggs. Arctic Eggs is a sci-fi cooking game where you take up the role of a poultry peddler stuck in Antarctica and looking for a way out. Your job is to cook eggs for people, along with a variety of other foods and objects, using only your mouse. And let me tell ya, it ain't easy. This game actually started off as a submission for the 2023 Big Mode Game Jam, and just knowing there was enough interest to turn this into a full game really gives me hope for the future of humanity, and more games about eggs. Now, how about an egg PG? RP Egg? In Yolk Heroes Along Tamago, the Fairy Queen has tasked you with raising a hero from an egg to battle the Dark Lord and save the realm from his evil reign. This is essentially a virtual pet game with an RPG twist to it, complete with minigames, combat, quests, and even some idle game elements. Your hero will pass through different stages of life as they grow, from a fragile egg that needs to be kept at just the right temperature, to an infant still learning the basics of life, and eventually to a full-grown elf who's ready to adventure out and save the world. Plus, the pastel pixel palette and the whole retro vibe really is the icing on the cake. Fowl Damage is slated for a September 13th release, and it's sort of the 2D version of Egging On. This one does have a demo on Steam, and it actually comes to us from the creators of Peglin. It's one of those one-button platformers, and in this case, that button makes you jump. A little too high, actually. Landing back on the ground from where you jumped will instantly kill you, so you'll have to get creative, either jumping up to higher levels or using ramps, bubbles, and moving platforms to mitigate any fall damage. What I'm most curious about is why there's an egg in this giant factory facility place to begin with. Seems very odd indeed, but maybe we were held there for some super secret lab tests or other nefarious reasons. Either way, our goal is to escape from here into the wilderness, rolling through caves and forests to find a new home. I feel like this is going to be a real fun one with a good level of challenge, and I'm always looking for new and unique platformers to play. So those were some egg games. I know I missed some of the more obvious video game eggs, like anything involving Yoshi, Angry Birds, Billy Hatcher, and definitely some others. I hope you found something new to download or add to your wish list, and don't be afraid to drop any other recommendations down in the comments, because I'm just one person and I can't possibly cover them all.